Well, g'day footy fans, welcome here to Between the Posts. This is the intro brought to you by 9 News, and I'm joined by the man that ran 160 Ks on the weekend. What was he running from? We'll never know. It's Jack Banwell. How are you, Jack?
Yeah, not too bad, Lachie. A bit sore, a bit worse for wear, a bit tired, but fantastic action in the Adelaide Footy League has taken place over the weekend, so I can't wait to dissect it all with you, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. We've got seven exciting divisions, seven exciting premiers. Who knows who's going to come out on top? Well, we are certainly going to be staying tuned to find out. What do we got on this week's show?
We've got plenty on today's show, Lachie. All the usual segments, plus we've got Division 1 wrap. You and I will be going through that one. Beck with the Division 1 women's report, and the Gossinator, Jad Gossin, he's off on holidays, sipping pina coladas somewhere. So Tony Neill has jumped in for the Division 6 wrap, and I can't wait to get stuck into that with Tony.
Yeah, that looked absolutely fantastic. And I will say, Jad, a special message to you. What are you doing, mate? Get back to Adelaide. We need you here covering some footy. But I mean, aside from that as well, we've also got Farmers Leap Coach of the Week, Born to Build Marks and Goals of the Week as well. So there's absolutely plenty of excitement on this show. But we'll see you on the other side of these messages. G'day everybody and welcome here to the Division 1 wrap. It is that time of the week, my favourite time of the week, where we're able to crack in and have a little bit of a look at the BTR excavations, Adelaide Footy League Division 1. And I'm joined, as always, by Jack Banwell. Jack, I mean, mate, it's been a really great night out here at Fitzroy as we take a break from Division 1 and head across to Division 6 for a moment.
Yeah, we are. They're absolutely flying at the moment in Division 6. 11-1, the Lions, under new coach Nathan Rayner, who's a player coach, and who's also our Farmers Leap Coach of the Week, Lachie, which I've just given away a little bit of a spoiler later on in the episode. That's my bad. But yeah, everything's going really well down at Fitzroy. They've been great hosts here tonight, and they just wrapped up their session on the track, and things are looking really good in Division 6 for the Lions.
Absolutely they are. I mean, Division 6 is looking really strong, and they'll be pretty comfortable and hoping that they are in Division 5 next year, of course, sitting 11-1 at the minute. But we are going to jump very quickly back to the BTR Excavations Division 1 because Broadview and Port District, our first game, they hung tight all day, did Broadview. They were brave. They played a fast game, but it wasn't quite to be as errors cost them in the back half. It was at quarter time, 1 straight 6 the Tigers to 1 behind. 4 goals, 3-27 Port District. They'd overtaken the Tigers, 3 goals straight 18. It was then 4 goals straight 24 to the Tigers before 9-8-62. That was at 3/4 time as Port District continued to widen the gap and they ended up running out 58-point winners. 13-11-89 plays 5-1-31. What did you make of it, Jack?
Yeah, you just touched on it a little bit there, Lachie. It was 9 points at half-time, the margin. Port Districts were up there, and then it was 5 goals, 5 to 1 straight in the third quarter. That's pretty much where the game was won and lost for Port District. That's where they won it, and it's where Broadview lost it. They're trying to play a certain way, Broadview, with a fast-running handball game. It was pretty evident there from the commentators' notes, which did lead to their downfall. They gave up a few goals, but I think if you're a Broadview player and a Broadview fan, it's a positive thing that you're trying to see a way that new coach Jack Fergus is trying to play. And it does look like they're going to go down to Division 2, but at least the way they know how they're going to play, they're going to have another off-season to build on the way that they're trying to play. And yeah, unfortunately, it hasn't been the season that they would have liked, but there's a way forward, it looks like, down at Broadview.
Yeah, absolutely. They have clearly gone, right, this is not going to be a year, unfortunately. It looks like we're going to be down in Division 2, barring, I think, even the most optimistic Broadview fan would say a minor miracle now.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, for them to go, all right, here's how we're going to get back to Division 1. Let's start implementing it against Division 1 teams, because surely if it works up here, it'll work back down there as well.
Yep.
Goal kickers, O'Leary, Carlin, Hames and Wilson. And for the Didders, it was Carter with 3, Lysette with 3, DeRizzi ended up with 2, M. Gaffney 2, Deinhoff, Dwyer and Gaffney. J variety there ended up on the board as well.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the best, it was Tyron Hill, Ben Manning, Jesse White, Cobe Wilson and Jaden Ryan. Meanwhile, for Port District, Kenneth Carpeny, Matty Rose, Jordan DeRizzi and Miller Carter. The best without being in the votes, but those famous votes for the High 5 e-bike, please.
Yeah, there's one player who's firming up the leaderboard there. Joey Haynes took out the 3 votes. Thanks to Tim Pillion, the commentator's notes there. He said he was exceptional by foot all afternoon, was Joey Haynes. The 2 votes goes to Scott Lysett. He really part of that third quarter dominance in the third quarter for Port Districts in the ruck, and the rest of the midfield brigade really got on top in that third quarter. He also went forward and, as you touched on, kicked 3 goals, did big screw to Lysett. And 1 vote to close it out was Ben Gould, hard-running connector between defence and offence, worked tirelessly on the wing for Port Districts all day. So Benny Gould, he's just a quiet, unassuming sort of player, and he gets it done week in, week out for Port District. And next game of round 12, we headed to Campbelltown Oval, Ross Trevor taking on Prince Alfred, and it was the Rocks who got a very convincing win to the tune of 75 points, 16-16, 112, defeated Prince Alfred 5-7-37. Rocks were well in control all afternoon. They led by 20, 33, 45, and eventually running over the top by 75 points. Lachie, what did you make of this one-sided affair?
Yeah, look, the excellent ball use of Ross Trevor clearly got them the win there as well. They were led by Wharton, Lim and others in the midfield as well. Meanwhile, PAC, they held on a few goals at a time they were able to get, but it wasn't enough really to be convincing. I have a look at that second quarter score when the game was there to be won. 13 scoring shots to 5, 1 goal 4. They should have been closer than what they were, to be honest.
Yep. Ross Trevor were slightly inaccurate early. They had 1 goal 4 before they got 3 quick ones right before quarter time. And this was partly just because of some ill discipline from PAC, which allowed a 12-point play, a little bit of a gift to Xavier Tramfer. So that just got Rocks all the momentum they needed, and they saw home for the rest of the afternoon. The goal kickers now for Rocks, Stefan Lanzoni, he continues his sensational season. He ended up with 4. Boxer and McCormack had 3. Silvac with 2, Baldwin, Dawson, Lim and Shute all with 1. And for PAC, James Bentley kicked 3 and McGuinness and Schmidt with 1 apiece. Before we get to the votes there, Lachie, who were some of the better players who didn't feature? And then give us the votes, please.
Will do. So Ryan Lim was on the best list for Rocks, but he didn't end up in the votes. He was joined by Jed Boxer, Stefan Lanzoni and Stepic as well. Meanwhile, for PAC, Slade, Clark, Bromley, Schmidt and Pitt all played great games of footy, but the votes 1 for Murata, 2 for Dawson and 3 for Wharton. The stream team this week, Golden Grove versus Sacred Heart. Now, you may have been wondering when you were watching the stream team, Louis McKenna's taken over. Lockie's gone. He's been sacked. Finally.
Where are you?
No, not quite. I was a little bit under the weather. So a massive thank you to Louis McKenna, who at about 11 a.m. on Saturday morning got the call up and was told you were going to be leading the stream team. I thought he did a fantastic job watching on from home. And Phil Herden, who was booked on to do the Salisbury North game, which will come up later in the division, drove all the way from Salisbury North back down to Sacred Heart to do this game of footy. So a massive thank you to both of those boys. They did a brilliant job and they were able to get the Adelaide Footy League ticking this weekend. So enough of us pumping each other up. Let's get into the game. It was a great game of footy as well. Having a look across the scoreboard, Sacred Heart were pretty soundly, not soundly beaten because Golden Grove were challenged as well, but they really were defeated in a 10-minute period in the first quarter where 4 goals were kicked. Lachie Pascoe ended up with 6 for the game. He set up 2 or 3 more, and from that period there, Sacred Heart couldn't get within a goal. It was Sacred Heart's 4-10, which was hard to watch in front of goal in the second half. 4 goals 10 when you're playing Division 1 footy, really not good enough to get the job done. And the Kookaburras were restricted to just 9 scoring shots in the second half. So 14 scoring shots to 9, a margin of really just over 2 goals, 13 points at the main break. Sacred Heart, you given those statistics, you probably expect them to go on and win the game. They didn't because they kicked 4 goals 10. Pretty disappointing in front of the big sticks there.
Golden Grove took the lead into 3-quarter time, and meetings previous, Sacred Heart were full of confidence. They've overrun Golden Grove a couple of times in the past, and they were very chirpy going into the main break. Lots of chirp from Sacred Heart saying, we're going to overrun these guys. We've got them. They'll fall asleep. They've done it before. And it took the leader, Cam Shenton, to bring the boys in and say, we are not letting this one slip again. And that was some very stern words being spoken from one of the leaders of the Kookaburras. And to their credit, they showed some... they showed some balls. I wasn't sure if I was going to say it, but they showed some ticker, the Kookaburras, and they held on for a 13-point win. And yeah, largely due to one man, really, the difference. Lachie Pascoe, he kicked 6. I think 5 of them were in the first half. So yeah, great win for the Kookaburras, and that'll give them much needed confidence heading into the rest of the season and for a finals tilt again.
Best on as well was Lachie Pascoe. I've already mentioned his 6 goals. He did lead the goal kicking for, I guess, across the entire day as well. Francis 3, McAuliffe ended up with 2. He had a bit of a quiet one out last week with the game that we did together for the stream team. So it was good to see him respond. Fox Rapana ended up with his as well. First goal in the A grade, so massive congratulations there.
On you, Reggie.
Yeah, on you, Reggie. And Simons and Window also ended up on the goal kickers list. Window returning from injury. He is for mine Shock's best midfielder. Please no one take offence for that. So it's good. It's good for him to return. Banwell ended up with 2. Not that Banwell, of course. That was Jed. Glenn 2, Blades and Collins as well. But the best, please, end the votes.
The best for Sacred Heart, it was Ethan Moore, Cooper Brinkworth, Beau McRae, Darcy Gluyas and Hunter Window. They all didn't feature in the votes. For Golden Grove, it was Pittman, awarded best on ground for his team. Cam Shenton, who also won the Moseley best team man. Lenny Pascoe with his 6 goals. Nick Collins and Josh Glenn. And then just for the high five player of the year votes, it was 3 votes for big Lenny Pascoe, 2 for Shenton and 1 to Jake Pittman.
It was a long trip up the highway for Glenunga. They went to Salisbury North and they did not return with 2 points, not even close, defeated by 32 points at the break, 6 at quarter time, 16 at the half, 35 at 3/4 time. They did end up winning the last quarter as a little bit of a silver lining on a pretty dark day, a 32-point margin in the end. It was the second half where Salisbury North went to work. They got a 16-point lead to a 32-point win. They piled on 8 goals to 5 in the second half, even though the Rams did win that last quarter, as the Rams hung around without offering much in the way of resistance. What'd you make on that game there?
Yeah, Glenunga challenged them for the most part, but Salisbury North were just too good, able to keep that gap that they needed to ensure victory, keeping them in touch with the 5. As you touched on, 8 goals to 5 in that second half, but it was really the third quarter where it was separated. 4 goals to 1 for the Hawks, separated the game enough for them to be able to run away comfortable winners. And it was that dynamic forward line again for the Hawks, which is proving to be an absolute handful in Division 1. They have the second best offence in Division 1, and it was 12 goals out of their 15 between their 4 major forwards. Joe Hansen, Hellabout, Costanzo and Richard combining for those 12. We'll go through who kicked what exactly out of that allocation. But yeah, they have a dynamic forward line and they're proving very tough to play against. And with a few more games left at home, I definitely fancy them to be knocking on the door of the top 5. They're only 1 win out as it stands currently. If they can pinch an away win here or there, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind they can be playing finals. For the votes, 3 to Geordie O'Brien, as you touched on. He brought his own footy, lots of clearances and plenty of score involvements. Jake Johansson, well, he is proving to be a handful in the Adelaide Footy League. In his 4 games, I think he's only played another 5 goals for him. And 1 vote to Geordie Opperman, who finished with 4 goals and apparently was Glenunga's only hope up forward.
Yeah, St. Peter's taking on Payne and Norwood Union. It went as we expected in the end. They got the job done by 12 points. A pretty brave effort, I thought, from Payne and Norwood Union. 8-13-61, plays 6-13-49. It was pretty even all day for St. Peter's. 5 points at the first break. That was Payne and Norwood Union. We all thought, 1 goal, 7. Let's be honest. That's probably disappointing. That's really disappointing. When you have 1 goal, 7, if you convert even a couple more of those opportunities, you probably win this game of football.
Yeah, potentially. That they could be definitely looking back on this one, ruining a massive upset, especially given what they went through during the week, Lachie.
Yeah, of course. Jeremy Cheney is no more there at Falcons. Lenny did a brilliant job, led them through a finals campaign and up from Division 2 as well. So a massive congratulations to him in his tenure, and I do look forward to reaching out to him during the week as well and just giving him a bit of a call there. But yeah, 5-6 plays 2-8. That was a pretty convincing second quarter. St. Peter's were able to open it up. They really got on a roll from there. It was 16 points at 3/4 time before they ended up winning the game by 12. So Payneham won the game by 4 points, but won the quarter by 4 points. Sorry. But yeah, it was a hard-fought win for Spock, as Payneham gave plenty and rewarded with chances, but the Spockos were a little bit more polished and efficient going forward. Paynham's inside forward 50s hurt them. No Viney, and Bauer was a late out as well. Payneham were undermined with no Matt Nunn as well, but they did work hard. Johnny Reid was great up top, while Morris had a huge game as well, and Higgins a great drive from the defence.
And the votes, it was Jimmy Higgins took home the 3 with his excellent drive from defence. Sam Morris had a huge game through the midfield, trying to wheel PNU over the line, finished with 2 goals. And Henry Nelligan's continuing his brilliant season as a recruit in the guts for the Spockos. He took home the 1 vote.
To the ladder there, Port District, St. Peter's, Ross Trevor in a third. I had a double take when I saw that. It's a really tight competition, is Division 1.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah. Golden Grove, Sacred Heart, Salisbury North, Glenunga, Prince Alfred and our two teams currently getting relegated, unfortunately, is Payneham Norwood Union and Broadview. But I tell you what, it was a great weekend of footy. What do you make very quickly when you look at the ladder? What's one key takeaway?
One key takeaway. You've really put me on the spot there. Sacred Heart slipping down to 5th. They've obviously had a pretty average fortnight, but I was surprised to see them slip that far. There's plenty of time for them to turn it around, and they'll need to do something about it very, very quickly because the Hawks are breathing down their neck.
Yeah, absolutely they are. It's a very interesting ladder. One for mine, and I'll touch on it when we do the what caught our eye as well. St. Peter's, Ross Trevor, Golden Grove, Sacred Heart, Salisbury North. I'll even throw Port District in there. For mine, the gap between Port District, St. Peter's, Ross Trevor, Golden Grove, Sacred Heart and Salisbury North, I've just basically named half the league. 3 games between Port District and Salisbury North. That is super tight for mine. I think this could be really any team could win this competition from here, and I'm super excited to see how it ends up. Yeah,
I definitely couldn't agree more with that. I mean, Port District do look like they are the number 1 team in it. There's definitely no premiership hangover signs from Port. They're just fine tuning that engine, as we touched on just before. But so for mine, I personally think they've got top spot sewn up. I think they're too good to not drop to. They're gonna, if you think about it, they're sitting first by a game and nearly 6%. They're gonna have to drop 2 games for them to relinquish top spot. So I think they've got top spot sewn up. But then that's not to say in a finals game when it's do or die that someone can't get them on their day. So for mine, Port District, they look absolutely cherry ripe. But yeah, there's plenty of teams out there that can catch them on their day. And as we're going to touch on in the game coming up, they've got a test of their own against Golden Grove. So that'll be a little preview of what's to come in September, perhaps.
Absolutely, I cannot wait for September. I say it all the time. It's my favourite month of the year. You're just coming out of that period, and then the cold, wet weather footy in June, July, and then all of a sudden you explode. You got spring, you got some finals. Beautiful. It's great fun. But speaking on round 13, as we get closer to that magic September month, Ross Trevor and Broadview, who have you got for this one?
Ross Trevor should be way too good for Broadview, unfortunately. We can see a way that Broadview are trying to play, but Ross Trevor are in an absolutely rich vein of form. They've kicked nearly 17 goals in the last 3 weeks on average, and they're winning by 10 goals in the last 3 games as well. So they should be way too strong for Broadview.
Prince Alfred and Salisbury North coming at us from Park 9, that one is.
Well, it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be tighter than a lot of people suggest and maybe think, but I think Salisbury North will go there and get the job done and keep their finals hopes alive.
Glenunga and St. Peter's, that's at Webb Oval, and that is also the Stream Team game. So I'll be back in the chair alongside Adam Jeffries. The dynamic duo have returned, Adam from his leave and me from my sickness. So looking forward to having a bit of a call with the great man again.
The Stream Team and the Dream Team, Lachie, eh?
I did that on purpose.
I think who's game again? St. Peter's.
St. Peter's and Glenunga,
that's
sorry.
My bad. I think St. Peter's should be too good, but Glenunga have shown that there's still signs that they can play that way that we know that they can play. It's probably just the depth. Maybe that's the issue for Glenunga. Obviously, with a fair few of those major injuries that they sustained earlier in the year, they're just not quite able to hold it for 4 quarters. But if St. Peter's are serious and they're serious about holding on to second spot, they go there and get the job done. Agreed.
Payneham Norwood Union taking on Sacred Heart. This one at Payneham Oval. I tell you what, it should be Sacred Heart's day, but maybe for Payneham.
I can smell something. I can smell Payneham looking to upset a few people, ruffle a few feathers, and I think they can definitely do it if they bring 4 quarters against Sacred Heart. Again, Sacred Heart should be too good, and if they're serious, they go there and they beat an undermanned and a struggling and a low on confidence Payneham Norwood Union. But if Payneham can come galvanised, Sacred Heart are cherry ripe for the picking.
Agreed.
I can't tip it.
You can't tip it? Well, unfortunately, that is not what we do here. We do tip it, so tip it.
Payneham.
Jeez, he's gone the crazy one. He's gone Payneham. Well, hopefully for Payneham Norwood Union. And this one for mine, even though the Stream Team game is at Webb Oval, this is game of the round for mine. Golden Grove taking on Port District, 4th. I still say there's a chance here for Golden Grove to come through and really have a strong September. If you're looking for a smoky, Golden Grove are the way to go, but they're taking on the reigning premiers, the most informed team in the competition in Port District.
Oh, I don't think Port District is the most informed team in the comp, Lachie.
don't
Golden
think-
Grove have won 5 in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, Port District on their day can just about deal with anybody. You said
They
it
can.
yourself 3 minutes ago.
Oh, I did. It's the first offense in Golden Grove versus the first best defense in the league, Port District. So I don't expect it to be a high-scoring encounter. I think Port District will try and strangle the ground and limit Golden Grove's offensive capabilities. I think being at home and the form that Golden Grove are in, I think they'll fancy themselves to win. And they do play the ground there really well. So I do think Golden Grove will win. But that doesn't take away anything from Port Districts. I think they're still very, very good side.
There you go. I've got Ross Trevor. I've got Salisbury North. I've got St. Peter's getting the win, Sacred Heart and Port Districts. So going against you in the last couple of games there.
Right.
But it should be a fun round of footy in the BTR Excavations Round 13 Adelaide Footy League in Division 1.
Do you belong in a role that drives you? In a community that makes you proud? In a team that brings out your best? You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
Well, it's women's footy time. Let's talk through all the action that went on in round 12, starting with the BTR Excavations Division 1 competition. And just a quick preview, there are some teams just getting it done and some teams trying their best to come from the clouds to get involved in finals action. What's your team up to? Well, let's get into it. And we'll start with Happy Valley versus Broadview. And it was Broadview who came to play at Happy Valley, getting over the home side by 27 points. Broadview 7-6-48, defeating Happy Valley 3-3-21. Now, back in round 5, Broadview went down by 2 points to Happy Valley with some inaccurate kicking in a low-scoring affair. Well, they well and truly turned it around with this win, and boy, did they want it. The first quarter saw Broadview kick 4 straight goals, and they held Happy Valley to 1 behind. That's one way to put to bed the kicking woes of their previous meeting. Happy Valley did return serve, managing to win the second quarter, but they only put on 1 goal won. Broadview came back strong again in the third, kicking 2 goals, 2 to Happy Valley's single major. But in the end, it was that big first quarter that did all the damage, and Broadview just maintained the lead to get the comfortable win. Now, believe it or not, Happy Valley actually sit 7th on the ladder now in Division 1, which is crazy considering they started the season winning 5 out of their first 6 games. It shows just how close and competitive this Div 1 comp is. Just a few weeks off, a few losses can see you slide from the top of the ladder all the way into 7th. Now, I have said over the last month just how tight things are in that middle section of the ladder, and this shows just that. A team who was comfortably in the top 4 has now had a bit of a slide, but they are still not out of the race whatsoever, and we will talk to the ladder more a little bit later. But wow, things are getting close here as we head towards the end of the season for the women's comp. And for Broadview, well, they are just daring to dream of that spot in the top 4. Remember, this is a team that was in the grand final last year and just a kick away from the flag. But they didn't give up hope, kept fighting, and now sit just 1 game outside the top 4. It is amazing what a few real gritty wins and some belief can do for a team. I can't wait to see what Broadview do in the last 2 games. Yes, that is a reminder, there are only 2 games left in the women's season for this year. It's crazy. We're getting to the spicy end of the season. It's all happening. So let's continue on and see what else happened in Division 1. Well, we move on to our ladder leaders, Payneham, who hosted Hectorville, and really no surprises in this match as the home side took out their 12th straight win. Payneham 7-11-53, defeating Hectorville 4-4-28, so a 25-point win to Payneham. Now, whilst Hectorville never really got too close to the reigning premiers, they put up a decent showing, which was led by a best-on performance by Christy Cooper. She kicked one of their goals in the match. Other goal scorers were Rosie Boone, Jasmine Egan and Liana Riccici. Although sitting 6th on the ladder, they are still very much in contention if they can get things right in the next 2 weeks. They are even on points with Broadview and also sit just 1 game outside of that 4th spot. As we have seen in the last few weeks in this division, absolutely anything can happen. Well, we're moving on to our next game of the round, and it was Saturday night footy back at Goodwood. And boy, did the Saints put on a show for the home crowd when they took on Golden Grove. Goodwood, 20 goals, 17, 137, defeated Golden Grove 1 goal to 8. So a 129-point win. And well, I talked about inaccurate kicking earlier with Payneham, and whilst there were a few kicking woes here with the Saints, it really could have been a full-on bloodbath if they'd kicked just a little bit straighter. A huge 37 scoring shots were on offer for the Saints that night, but I think they will be well and truly happy with the 129-point win. Now, this win sees the Saints pick up their 6th victory for the season, and it feels like they are just starting to get into gear for finals to try and hold on to that 4th spot. But it might not be quite that easy as they have a pretty tricky run home. But that will all play out in the next 2 weeks. So let's have a look at where all those goals came from, all 20 of them. And there were 8 goal scorers, so let's just get through them because this is going to take some time. Skipper Emma White, well, she led the charge with 5 goals. Tessa Cohn also kicked a bag with 4. 5 players kicked 2 goals each: Chappell, Chire, Fox, Griffiths and Thilthorpe, and a single went to Taylor Wilkinson. Now, that is a decent spread of goal kickers. Now, for their best on, it went to Jess Chire, and my goodness, is JC having a ridiculously awesome season back in the Saints colours. Absolutely killer, and she's going to try and single-handedly lift this whole team along with their skipper, Emma White, I reckon. Now, whilst this is a great confidence booster for the Saints, we all want to kick 20 goals in a game, it is all about the next 2 weeks. As I said, they have a tough run home. They face an informed Broadview, and then their final matchup of the season is against Morphettville Park. Now, these will both be tough matches, but if Goodwood want to be a finals team, well, they've just got to beat those sides, and both matches away from home too. But if they can get both of these wins, well then, I think they're a huge chance to make some waves come finals. Now, for Golden Grove, we know it hasn't been their year. The wins just haven't come for them, and it's always a tough place to be heading towards the end of the season and you haven't been able to grab a win. Dana McKee kicked their only major in this clash, and their best players featured Nevaeh Jolly, Ayla Johnson and Tatum Giles. Their best chance for a win in the last 2 rounds probably comes next week where they play Happy Valley, so we'll await the results of that one for Golden Grove fans. Now, our final matchup for the round featured 2 of the top 4 teams going at it in a real battle for second spot on the ladder, with Morphettville Park and Henley facing off at Kellett Reserve. And it was the Sharks who came out on top with a 2-goal win. Henley 8-7-55, taking down the Roos 6-7-43. Now, this win secures second spot for the Sharks, so they are guaranteed that double chance come finals, which is a huge win for them. Now, back in round 5 when these teams faced off, it was Morphettville Park who took the win by 2 points in a close one. So Henley, they'll just be so stoked to have got this one back over the Roos. Now, looking at the match overall, it was a little bit slow to get started. Both sides, just struggling to get into it, as the score was 8-5 at quarter time in favour of the Sharks. Now, Henley got going in the second, kicking 4 goals to be ahead by 15 at half-time. Henley extended the lead to 19 at 3/4 time and held on for the win despite losing the final quarter. Now, in terms of the scoreboard, you just know that Tegan Dunbar was involved in a win like this. She put on 3 goals to take her season total to 43. She was supported by goals to Hayley Conlon, Eliza Cooper, Ellie Fixter, Shannon Murphy and Tegan Fry. Ellie Fixter was their best on ground, and we know that she's one of the best operators in that team for the Sharks. For the Roos, Melinda Speechley kicked 2 goals and single goals went to Harding, Maple, Watson and Zarella. Gianna Zarella, aka Jay-Z, continued her fabulous run this season with another best on ground performance on top of that goal. Now, despite really coming in hot for that top 4 position, the Roos have actually dropped their last 2 games. Now, they do still sit in 3rd, but similar to the Goodwood Saints, their next 2 weeks are absolutely huge. They have Hectorville and Goodwood to finish the season, so 2 absolutely make or break games for their run home to finals. Can they do it? Now, let's just have a look at this ladder because it is all happening at the moment in Division 1. So the only positions we've got locked in with 2 matches to go are 1st, 2nd and 8th. The rest of this ladder is absolutely up for grabs. So in between Morphettville Park, Goodwood Saints, Broadview, Hectorville, Happy Valley, the team that really wants it, well, the 2 teams that really want it are the ones that are going to make this final series. So the next 2 weeks are they're getting crazy in Division 1. So let's roll through to round 13 because there are some scintillating matchups coming at you. We've got Golden Grove and Happy Valley. As I said before, this is probably Golden Grove's chance to get their win for the season, but Happy Valley, we know they've had a little bit of a tough run the last few weeks, so this might be one that they really want to get as well. So plenty to play for there for both teams. Then we have an absolute killer matchup. The top 2 sides are finals week 1 preview, Henley and Payneham. It will be so interesting to see how this one plays out. Will the teams be going for the win? Will they be trying to suss each other out because they know they're going to meet each other come finals round 1? I will be eagerly awaiting the results from this one. Then we have Broadview and Goodwood Saints, and as we've talked about, this is 2 teams that really want to get that top 4 position. So that's going to be a huge one as well. And then same for Hectorville and Morphettville Park. That just all 4 of these games are so huge. I can't express that enough for how things are going to finish in Division 1 here. And as I said, there is just 2 rounds to go, so things are getting so interesting. And yeah, like I said, I can't believe there is only 2 rounds left until we hit finals for the women's competition. The whole season has come down to this next few weeks. So make sure you stay tuned to Between the Posts to see if your club makes finals and where they're going to be playing, what's going to be happening come those really crucial games that we're going to hit in August. But we will, of course, be here every week with all your women's wraps for the last few weeks of the comps and, of course, the finals as well. So I will see you next week.
Alrighty, footy fans, it's that time of the week again, Farmers Leap Coach of the Week. And this week, we're heading to Division 6. We're actually here at the home of the Fitzroy Lions Football Club and their coach, Nathan Rayner. He's a Fitzroy junior, returned to the club this year after several years at other clubs. In that time, he had a 10 glorious game career at the Woodville West Torrens Eagles in the SANFL. So that's a bit of a throwback for you there, Nathan. He has the Fitzroy Lions absolutely humming this year. 3 games clear on top of the ladder. He's missed the last couple of games with injury, but he'll be getting himself ready to come back, fit and firing for finals and have this side humming for a flag tilt. But for now, this week, Nathan, you are our Farmers Leap Coach of the Week. G'day everyone, it's Division 6 time, and with the Villies Bakery Division 6 wrap, we've got none other than Tony Neill. Tony, take it away, mate. But firstly, welcome.
Thank you very much, Jack. We've wound back the clock. The hat's sitting over there for the interviews later on.
Should have chucked it on for this too, mate.
Well, I'll tell you what a pleasure it is. All the viewers out there have been asking and sending letters. Yes, I'm all right. Things are going well. And let's have a look at Division 6, by the way. I've kept an eye on things. And Fitzroy, aren't they, way out on top? I just live over the back. You should hear every Saturday night the parties going on down here. But no, they are doing very well, and a very astute coach, I might say.
Yep.
Then we've got Ingle Farm, Rosewater, St Paul's, and O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale making up the 5, and we're going to expand on this in a moment.
We certainly will.
Para Hills, Blackfriars, Houghton Districts, Adelaide Lutheran and West Croydon, so all points of the compass, Jack.
Yep. Just before we dissect the ladder a bit more there, Tony, the top 5, you had a good little stat for me in a little comparison to the reserves and the depth of the Division 6 teams. Did you want to touch on that a little bit more?
Well, we talk about that. There's 3 of the 5 teams in the top 5, which are Rosewater, Inglefarm and Fitzroy, have also got their team currently in the top 5 in the reserves. And I think that's a very important point because it's your depth.
Yep.
There's strength in your depth and there's competition for spots. So very healthy for those 3 clubs as the season continues.
Yep, couldn't agree more. I think that's a similar trend throughout the other divisions, Tony. So strong reserves, strong C grade, makes for a strong A grade as well. And I think we're seeing that in Division 6. Please continue.
So we are 2/3 of the way through the season. So if you're a coach out there, you might break your macros up into games of 4, 5 or 6. If you did it in games of 6, you've played 2 of those macros, you've got 1 to go. So what do the last 6 rounds look like? Well, 2nd to 4th are all on 8 wins. So they're 2 games ahead of the 4 teams below. So if you've got the 4th position here, 1, 2, 3 are playing for that 2nd, 3rd and 4th. But then 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale, Para Hills, Blackfriars and Houghton Districts. With 6 games to go, 4 teams playing for 1 spot, all on 6 wins. And it's an opportunity to play finals. So what do we do from here? So I've had a bit of a dissection of the for and against because stats can give you some certain things. If you go out and train the same way now for the next 6 weeks, you're going to get nowhere, to be honest, because yes, your strengths have got you there, but what do we need to focus on over the next 6 weeks? So if we look at our for and against, O'Sullivan's beats Lonsdale in 5th position. Their for is actually 7th, but their against is 5th. So maybe a little bit of training, a little bit more, whether it's goal shooting, whether it's holding the ball in the 50 area, whether it's getting it in that forward half, whatever it might be. But forward area craft, maybe 60-40 with the training now. Para Hills were there 6 and 6 with their numbers. Blackfriars, they're 7th on the ladder, but they're 8th for their scoring for. Interestingly though, their defensive area is 4th. So defensively they're very sound. So if you look at their back 6 or 8, if they play a couple through there, what can they do up forward? So once again, 2 teams now have to work on their forward area craft in these last 6 rounds. But Houghton are in 8th. So here's the interesting thing. Houghton have been scoring freely. Their 4 is 11-48. They're 3rd on the ladder. So they'd be going, how good's this? We're going all right up in the forward line, but the defence, well, at 1,118 points against, they are actually 8th, I believe, on the ladder for their defensive work. So they need to perhaps work on their defence. Now, there's a lot of things you can do. Is it tempo? Is it do we hold the ball up? Is it switch of play? I haven't seen them play this year, so I can't say without going out there and having a look. But there's some perhaps things that they need to focus on over the next 8 weeks.
There you go. Take us through, just quickly touch on the teams in and out from Division 6 from 2024. How are they faring in 2025 there, Tone?
So the teams down from Division 5 last season, Blackfriars in 7th. They're around the mark, as we said. They may well push up to 5th position, who knows. West Croydon, well, they're in 10th, and with all due respect to West Croydon, they've just got a little bit of work to do. But we've seen teams do this in the past. They'll go down, they won't find their way in that level, they might go down another level, they rebuild, and then they come back up again. So I wish all the best to West Croydon. Teams up from Division 7 last season, Para Hills and OSB Lonsdale, that was the grand final, 6th and 5th position respectively. Just a quick one on those 6 games to go. I'll talk about training smarter. Do you stick to your strengths? That's what got us here. Or do you start to play around? We look at, have we got to swing them?
It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Are there positional players that we need to move around? Is it something that we need to play around with? And you can do that in game time. If you're leading a game, I know it's a big risk, but I'm putting with the coaching hat on. What do we need to work on? Because when you get to the finals, you've got to have a plan B. Are we any good in the wet and the wind? Is it speed versus height and tempo versus quick release? So there's plenty of things to work on. We call it working smarter, not harder, Jack.
Very good, Tony. The best players and the goal kickers, please, for Division 6.
Oh, this is very interesting.
There's
I looked
some
it up.
sharpshooters in this division.
Ooh.
What have we got going on here in
Well,
Division 6, Tony?
The goal scorers, first of all, Daniel Wheater once again, 12 games, 60 goals, if you don't mind. Absolutely sensational.
Killing it.
The man here from Fitzroy Footy Club, Dion Doolan, I might just jump over the back fence and come and have a look one day, played 12 games, 57, so he's only 3 behind. He's right behind Daniel Wheater there.
Yeah.
And Trevor Rigney, the evergreen, I love Trevor Rigney. He can take the big grab, he can kick the goals. Bit of a talisman down there. And O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale, he's played one less game, mind you, 11 games, 56 goals. So that's a pretty good average. I don't know what that is. Is that what, 4 point something or 5 point something? 5 point something, isn't it? Yeah. So good on you, Trevor Rigney.
Where are we up to now, Tony? I reckon it's round 13 preview time.
It is, and I've just changed my numbers there because Ingle Farm versus Blackfriar. Let's have a look at this game. I spoke about Blackfriars. They're 7th on the list. They need to score.
Yep.
2nd versus 7th. So it's the team that's lower on the ladder that needs to work a bit harder there. So opportunity, it's playing away, but they need to score. That's your time is now. You can't wait for 2 or 3 weeks' time. St Paul's versus Fitzroy. So St Paul's are 4th on the ladder.
Hang on, Tony. Sorry, mate. Tommy Javor's golden rule on Between the Posts. We don't do a preview without a tip. So Ingle Farm versus Blackfriars. You got a tip for the viewers out there?
Being an old Ingle Farm man, mate, I'd have to go the green and white, wouldn't I?
There you go, the Bulldogs.
Oh, well, no, I won't start singing the song. Do you know, I played a season there, we never sang the song once, we didn't win one game, that's true.
Do you know it?
1986 was the year, but yeah, I do know it.
I've
sang it since. I've been to a past players' day, and we had a bit of. I sniffled up because they all got around me in a circle, and they sang it, and I sort of mumbled my way through it. But fantastic, the old Ingle Farmers. I've got the woolen jumper still at home too. St Paul's versus Fitzroy. Am I allowed to continue now?
Yes.
The Sainters.
Yep.
4th versus 1st. So once again, this is a big game, but St Paul's. If they want to cement their spot in the 4 or in the 5, now, this week, this is your opportunity, and this will build you in to the finals. Use this game, St Paul's, please. Okay, the 2 teams up from Division 7 last year, O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale versus Para Hills. Did you want a tip for that game?
Yes, please. I was biting my tongue.
All right, I'll tip the away team, because we're here tonight, and I'll get thrashed if I don't do the right thing. Fitzroy.
I'll tip the home team, St Paul's, in that one. Bit of a statement, and hopefully hopefully they sneak into the 3 and get a double chance.
Yes, well, keep an eye on that. This is a very interesting division. OSB Lonsdale versus Para Hills, down at OSB Lonsdale, 5th versus 6th on the ladder. So we talked about this. They've got the equal games, if you like. So this one is game of the round, and quite simply, it comes down to who wants it more. And they've had some good battles over the last year or so this will be an absolute ripper.
They certainly have. There's a grand final rematch from last year, of course, in Division 7, Tony, so there'll be plenty of spite in that game, I have no doubt about it.
I'm tipping OSB Lonsdale in this one, in a close one.
I'm going to tip the Roos away from home. Yep.
Wowee. All right. Adelaide Lutheran versus West Croydon, 9th versus 10th. The best thing about this, there'll be 36 blokes, or probably 42 blokes if you like, out there having a kick of footy. That's what it's all about. Doesn't matter win, lose or draw. Get out there and give it your best shot and play a great game. So good luck, and Adelaide Lutheran at home for me.
This has to be the week that the West Croydon Hawks get a win, so hopefully they can go down there and cause a little boil over.
Oh, Jackie, you've done your work, haven't you? All right, Rosewater versus Houghton District, 3rd versus 8th. My notes here, Houghton, if they really want to be a contender, they have to be tough. Tough this week. You know what that means? Get in there and have a go, play fair football. They'll be out of the mud and the wind and the cold. They'll be down there at Rosewater. Well, probably will be muddy, windy and cold. There you go.
Will be.
That's a double entendre or something, isn't it? But I think now I'm going to tip here, away from home, Houghton Districts, because they need the win. They need to be tough if they're going to be a contender, and they're equal 5th position, even though they're in 8th.
Yep. It's they've got the 3rd best offence in the comp, as you touched on earlier there, Houghton. So they know how to score, and if they can put that on display again this weekend, I think we'll see an upset, and I'm going to go with you on that one. Houghton to cause a bit of an upset against Rosewater.
Bound to happen, Jack. So that is our Division 6, and of course we are going to have a bit of a walk around the Fitzroy Footy Club because there's a little bit of news down around the club tonight. So we're going to do a couple of interviews and so on. So thanks so much for having me.
Nah, not a problem at all. Not a pleasure. Sorry, nah. Not a problem at all there, Tony. Thanks very much for your Villiers Bakery Division 6 wrap.
G'day everybody, welcome back to What Caught Our Eye. Well, that was the worst moment of my life. Anyway, what have you got in Division 7?
Division 7. Plenty happening in Division 7. We'll kick it off. Mawson Lakes were leading Hackham by 44 points heading into the final break and only just held on. Hackham kicked 6-1 in the final quarter. The 6th place Lakes holding on against 4th place Hackham by 9 points.
Interesting. I went the other way. Elizabeth by 115 points over Bramah Lodge. Bramah Lodge was second coming into this game, is still second now. I'll tell you what, Elizabeth are looking pretty good for that premiership at the minute. They're yet to concede 400 points across 12 games of footy. The next best, funnily enough, is Bramah Lodge, 786 points. So nearly twice as good as their opponents in terms of defense.
That's a stat there, Lachie. Goodness me.
That's what I do. I'm the stats guy. True, man. Watch your back.
You are.
Division 6.
Rosewater kept their double chance hopes alive in a classic 4-pointer against St. Paul's. 3 points was the three-quarter time margin before they ran away with it by 21 points. This has now created a battle for second and third spot with 3 teams on 8 wins, Ingle Farm, Rosewater and St. Paul's.
Absolutely. Div 6 as well. Weetra Doolan, who plays out here at Fitzroy. They've been brilliant tonight as well in terms of hospitality. And Rigney all over 50 goals. Fitzroy moving out to the 11-1. But you can, if you want an even more in-depth analysis, Division 6 wrap, Tony Neill and the Wizard. They took to the stands and they made sure they got the answers that everyone needs. Division 5, please, Wizard.
The tightest competition we have in the Adelaide Footy League. Take your eyes off of this for 1 week and teams are flying all up and down the bloody ladder. Woody South are finally out of the relegation zone. My former club, the Magpies down at Salisbury, find themselves in it for the first time this year.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of a combo here for mine. I don't know whether or not we're allowed to do it on What Caught Our Eye, but I do what I want, so unlucky. Yep. Division 5 and Division 7, I've decided to combine. Only 2 teams in the men's section of the Adelaide Footy League are undefeated, Marion and Elizabeth. So very interesting there. The lower you go down the leagues there, the more undefeated teams you find. It's really impressive from both those clubs and looking forward to seeing what they're able to do in what you would imagine Div 6 and Div 4 for those 2 clubs there. Division 4, speaking of Division 4, just Division 4.
Poor Darcy's just shaking his head at you trying to make up your own rules there, Lachie.
Yeah,
You're going to give him some bloody homework to do, but that's all right. In Division 4, Hectorville had a strong away win at Morphy Park by 33 points. I also believe the top 5 is locked in Division 4. Hectorville in 5th, a 1 game and 13% in front of Jeps Cross, who are sitting in 6th.
There you go. Mine, Paparella, another 4 goals at 58 on the season. His team, Plimpton, they beat Walkerville by 67 points. That was 1st and 3rd coming into the weekend. They are looking really good at the minute, Plimpton, on a rich purple patch. They're set in purple sectors if you're a big fan of your racing like myself. Division 3, please.
Nice save. Seaton won the all-important relegation grudge match battle against Scotch Old Collegians. Seaton now sit 1 win and 4% ahead of the relegation zone in Division 3. What have you got?
Division 3, low scoring round of footy. Everyone except Edwardstown under 100 points. That's victors, losers and draws as well. So just something to keep in mind there. The defences certainly had their work cut out for them and boy did they stand up as well. Division 2.
Athelston, losing back-to-back games, now has the race for Division 2 wide open yet again. Henley and Goodwood in 4th and 3rd are breathing down the top 2's necks after sensational wins in round 12.
Yeah, I had basically the same thing. 4-horse race at the top. I think any of these teams could end up getting promoted here. That's, of course, Athelston, Tea Tree Gully, Goodwood, Saints and Henley. Who do you think it's going to be? Question without notice. Who's going up?
Athelston and Henley.
Yeah, I'll go Athelston definitely. I'll also take Goody Saints to come back up as well. So there you go.
Ooh, the former Division 1 powerhouse there, Goody Saints.
Yeah.
Back to where they belong, perhaps?
Yeah. No love to Tea Tree Gully, so we do apologise. But I'm sure if we had Tommy here, he'd be saying it was Tea Tree Gully all the way. Division 1, please.
Your prediction might be coming to fruition here, Lachie. Speaking of Lachie, Lachie Pascoe kicked 6 on his way to passing the 50-goal mark. And that prediction of 75 goals, he might well and truly hit it there, Lachie. He's in good form at the moment, big Lenny Pascoe.
He absolutely is, and I am the Messiah if he gets there. 6-horse race for final positions between Port District, St. Peter's, Ross Trevor, Golden Grove, Sacred Heart and Salisbury North. I mentioned it when we did the ladder in the Division 1 wrap, so make sure that you check it out for even more analysis of that great division there in the BTR Excavations Division 1. But that wraps us up for what caught our eye.
Alrighty, footy fans, it's that time of the week again. You're born to build Marks of the Week. Saw a great hanger over the weekend? Make sure you send it in. darcy@filmingfooty.com.au. And the winner of Mark of the Year wins a 3-night stay in Broome thanks to Kimberley Resorts. So make sure you get your nominations sent through. Make sure they get voted for on Facebook. And best of luck to all nominees.
Golden Grove are not in any particular rush. They're moving it forward, but deliberately. It's with Ingram. Here's a runner. Oh, there's your magic! Here's a runner. Oh, there's your magic!
Is it pay the required distance? It is to Brody Wagner. Wagner called to play on now. It's in the middle of the ground. It's a big mark. Now. It's in the middle of the ground. It's a big mark. Wonderful grab from Anthony Hellabout. Hellabout now.
Alrighty, footy fans, check out these snags of the week, thanks to Born to Build. Get your nominations through to darcy@filmingfooty.com.au. And just recently announced, the winner of Goal of the Year, thanks to Police Credit Union, wins a prize pool of $3,000. So remember, darcy@filmingfooty.com.au. Get your nominations in and get voting on the Facebook page.
G'day everybody, welcome here to The Last Word, brought to you by Sapol. A massive thank you to Fitzroy again for having us. They've been brilliant hosts all night, so a massive thank you. And it is time for this week's milestones, mini-me's and marathons, because the man sitting next to me, 160 Ks, Jack Banwell, ran an ultra marathon. We said at the start of the show, we don't know who he was running from. I still don't know who he was running from, but a massive congratulations, mate. Well done.
Thank you, man. You never know who I was running from,
Yeah,
or what I'm running from, or...
It could have been from John Douglas. I run from him as well. He's he's a scary man. Nah, that's all right. Love you, Johnny. The first thing we do want to talk about as well, Tea Tree Gully in terms of milestones. We didn't give him any love on who's going up into Division 1, but 350 games, Jared Thompson, 250 games from Mark Hancock as well. A massive congratulations to them. And over in the Women's League as well, a massive congratulations is due there.
Yeah, at Westminster, Sharon Ford ticked off her 100-game mark, which is a really great achievement in a league that has, I think, only 13 or 14 games in a season. To play 100 games is a great effort. So congratulations to you, Sharon.
Yeah, she did a brilliant job. 150 games for Josh Hutchinson's and life membership at the Modbury Football Club for him. Congratulations to Josh. And there's one more from Kilburn, I believe.
There is Scott Galbraith. He notches up 200 games for the Chicks. He's been a very great servant at Kilburn over the journey. So congratulations, Scott, on 200 games.
But a massive thank you to all our sponsors. A massive congratulations to everyone that ended up in the milestone. And a massive congratulations to Jack for running until his legs fell off. A massive thank you to everyone for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you for more on Between the Posts.